Hey guys, this is Miss Morrow at College Street Elementary, and today I'm going to work with you on adding and subtracting and using base 10 pictures to help us with the addition and subtraction. So what you're going to need today is either some dice, I've got some dice in my hand right here, or a deck of cards. So here's my deck of cards, and with your deck of cards you're going to remove the face cards, so that's your ace, or your jacks, queens, kings. You're also going to remove your tens. I'm going to take my tens out, and that's just going to leave you with all your number cards and your aces. Our aces are going to be the number 1 because there's 1 for the ace. So you can either use a deck of cards or you can use some dice. You're also going to want something to do your problems on, so paper and pencil, and maybe some graph paper, especially if you're working with 3-digit numbers. So this is graph paper that I've printed off the internet. If you Google free graph paper, it'll take you to some websites where you can get some graph paper, but this is going to be what I'm showing my work on today. So I'm going to go ahead and flip our camera over and come up to our workspace, and I'm going to be showing my work today on a dry erase board. But if you don't have a dry erase board at your house, that's fine. You can just show your work on paper and pencil, but that's going to let me erase and do lots of problems. So I'm going to use 3 dice. Well, you know what? I'm going to start with 2 dice. We'll start with 2-digit numbers. So I'm going to roll my dice, and I rolled the number 44. So on my paper, I'm writing 44, and I'm making sure to put 1 digit in each space. And then I'm going to roll again, and I rolled 56. So I'm going to write the number 56, and I'm going to start off with adding. So to show my work for 44, I'm going to use one color and show 44 as 4 tens. So when I draw my tens, I'm drawing straight lines, and 4 ones, and I'm using just small dots for my units. So I have 4 tens and 4 ones. These are my rods, these are my units, my tens and my ones. Then I'm going to use another color to show that I'm adding 56 more. So when I add 56 more, that's going to be 5 tens. So remember, these are not tally marks, so be careful because a lot of my friends start wanting to draw them like tally marks. I'm not drawing tally marks, I'm drawing tens. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 5 tens, and 6 ones. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more makes 6 ones. Now, my 2nd grade and 3rd grade friends, if you remember from kindergarten and 1st grade, when we draw ones, we frequently have them pictured in a 10 frame. So I'm using that idea of my invisible 10 frame to do my groups of ones in a group of 5 and then one more. All right, so now I'm ready to add these numbers. And I notice that when I combine 4 ones and 5 ones, that's going to fill up a group of 10. Now, I am not going to keep 10 in a place. When I have my places written and I have hundreds and tens and ones, I can't fit a 2-digit number in one place. So that's where I'm going to end up regrouping. I'm going to take this group of 10 and I'm going to move it over to my tens. 10 ones regroups into 1 10. So these ones aren't sitting here anymore. I moved them over. So I have 0 ones in my ones place. All 10 of my ones got moved over. Now I'm counting how many I have over here. I have 5, or I'm counting about 10, sorry, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So because I have 100, I'm going to move that group of tens over to my hundreds place. That would build a 100. So all of my tens got moved, and I end up having 1 whole 100 when I add 56 and 44. If you're using the traditional algorithm, the way that we add and subtract numbers up and down, you'll notice that 6 plus 4 is 10. There's that 0 in the ones place, and I regroup the 1. And when I add 5 plus 4, that's 9, and one more makes another 10. 0 goes in the tens place, and I regroup the 1. So anytime I'm building a 10, I'm regrouping to the next place. So my algorithm matches my picture. This is probably how Mom and Dad grew up doing it, and this is how we've been learning how to think about it and visualize those numbers in school. All right, let's try another one. This time, let's do 3 digits plus 3 digits. We did a 2-digit plus a 2-digit. So I'm going to roll my dice, and I rolled a 4, a 3, and a 6. So I'm writing 436. Now, notice that I'm on purpose not writing in the squares at the top because I know I'm going to maybe use those later to show my regrouping. Now I'm going to roll another number, and I rolled a 2, a 1, and a 2. So that would be 212. And now I'm going to draw my picture in my workspace. I'm using one color to show 436. That's going to be 4 hundreds, and I draw squares for my flats for 400s. Now, if you want to use actual base 10 blocks, there is a YouTube video on my channel for do-it-yourself base 10 blocks. You're welcome to use those base 10 blocks, but we are moving from the concrete of moving base 10 blocks to the pictorial. We're drawing pictures of base 10 blocks. So this would be kind of like level 2 of problem solving with base 10 blocks. So there's my 436, and my second number that I'm adding is 212. So I'm going to have 2 hundreds, 1 10, and 2 ones. And because I'm adding these, that means I'm combining my groups. So when I do that, I'm going to move these 2 ones up here and combine those together, and that gives me 8 in this 10 frame, which is not a full 10 frame. So I have 8 ones over here. I can go ahead and write 8 over here. And then I have 3 10s and 1 10. Together that makes 4 10s. So again, I don't have a 10. I can't regroup. So that's 4 10s. And then when I look at my hundreds, I have 2, 4, 6 hundreds. So my answer is 648. And in this problem, I had no regrouping, and I can show my work on my paper as well. So this is showing how to add with base 10 pictures. Let's see if we can use the same strategy to show subtraction with base 10 pictures. Now, you might not have dice at your house, but you might have a deck of cards. You can get a deck of cards at the store. They usually cost right around $1. So you can get a deck of cards, and you can do the same thing with a deck of cards. My first number is going to be 61. My second number is 46. So the problem that I'm writing on my paper is 61 subtract 46. So 61 subtract 46, or take away, as the kids say. So I'm first going to show the number 61 with my base 10 pictures. So I have 6 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and a 1. And now I want to subtract 46. So I'm doing minus 46. Now, when I show my subtraction picture, I'm going to not draw my second number, but I'm going to cross out what I am subtracting. So I'm going to show this using a take away method. So can I subtract 6 ones from 1 1? I cannot. There's not enough ones there to subtract. So I would have to regroup. I'm going to take a 10 and break that 10 into 10 ones. And I always break it so that it looks like it's in a 10 frame with 5 and 5. So that changes my numbers. Instead of 6 10s, now I have 5 10s, and instead of 1 1, now I have 11 ones. So changing my picture also causes a change in my numbers over here. And now I can subtract 6 from 11. So I'm going to cross out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to get that one up there so I don't forget. So a lot of people will erase when they're subtracting. I don't like erasing. I want to be able to see where I marked those out. When I marked out 6, that left me with 5 1s. So I have 5 1s left. Now I need to mark out 4 10s. Notice when I regroup, I draw an X to X that out. So I always say regroup and do that 2 syllables. But when I'm subtracting the original number 46 from what I've regrouped, I show the subtraction with just 1 slash. I just use 1 slash to mark those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that leaves me with 1 10 not marked out. So I have 1 10 not marked out, and you'll see that my picture, my subtraction picture, matches my regrouping on my algorithm over here. Okay, let's see if that same strategy works with a 3-digit number. So my first number that I have is 923. I just drew 3 cards and I made 923. And my second number is 125. Remember, my ace is a 1. So the problem that I'm recording on my paper, so I don't forget, is 923 minus 125. I'm writing that down so I don't forget when I move my cards off of my workspace. And so now, in my workspace, I'm going to draw the number 923. That's going to have a lot of 100s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundreds, 2 10s, and 3 1s. There's my 923. And with a different color, I'm going to show that I'm subtracting 125. So I want to subtract 125. So I first go to my ones because I want to subtract 5 1s from 3. But I am not able to do that. I'm not able to cross out 5 from 3 and show that regrouping. So I'm going to have to regroup a 10. And I know some people say borrow and carry. I don't say borrow because I'm not giving it back. And I don't say carry because I'm not actually carrying anything. So I like to use the word regroup because that shows I'm taking this one group of 10 and changing it into, I'm taking this 10 and changing it into one group of 10. I'm regrouping that and making it into a different looking kind of group. It has the same value. I still have 10 ones. This was 1 10, but instead of showing 1 10, now I'm showing a group of 10 ones. So we use the word regroup. When I draw this with my kids, we always say regroup when we do the X, and we say regroup when we do our arrow. So we actually say regroup twice to emphasize that. So that changed my ones, and that changed my 10s. So over here, my 10s now only have 1 10 left in them. You see it right here? And my ones now have 13 ones because I added 10 more. So I wish I had, you see how I wrote my numbers really close to the top? And I told you guys on your graph paper, don't write your numbers close to the top. And then I wrote my number close to the top. I did not take my own advice. So I have to squeeze my regrouping up there. So next time we'll try to remember to push our numbers down a little bit when we write them. And I'm going to mark out 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm taking 5 ones away. And that leaves me with 8 in the ones place. So I know I have 8 in the ones place. Now I need to subtract my tens. I come back over here to my original problem. I want to take 2 tens away. I only have 1 10 showing. So I'm going to have to regroup a 100 to show 10 tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So this shows a 100 and this shows a 100. I've regrouped that 100. That changes my 9 to 800s, and instead of 1 10, now I have 11 tens. So anytime I go to another step, you'll notice I keep switching colors. So if you want to use colors when you're doing this at home to show your different steps, it kind of makes it easy to see where you were doing what thing. Now I can subtract 2 tens. So I always subtract my original number first so I don't forget to count it later. So I'm subtracting 1, 2, and I know that was a group of 10 and I just took 1 away. So without counting, I can look at that and tell that there's 9 left. Or you could count backwards from 11. 11, 10, 9. That works too. So there's 9 tens left. And then finally, I need to take 100 away from the 800 that I have there. And that's going to leave me with 700. So I have 798 as my subtraction problem. So you can play this game at home. You can generate random problems by dealing with a deck of cards or by rolling with your dice and solving with addition or subtraction to show how you're showing your work on that. If you would like to use the do-it-yourself base 10 blocks, you can look for that video on my YouTube channel. Bye guys, have a great time doing math. Show your work to your teacher if you do play this game. Take a screenshot or a video and send it to your teacher so they know that you're doing math at home as well. Miss you guys.